What do you do tonight when the person you trusted with your life ends up ruining everything? Harlem is reeling from betrayal, heartache, and anger as Jim Jones, the man who dealt the final blow, was recently sentenced to prison. It was his first-day brother, Cameron. But that's not even the worst part. In a cruel turn of events that nobody saw coming, Cameron's own family recently disclosed startling information about Chrissy that was so damaging that it destroyed everything that was left. Chrissy was seen crying as her entire world fell apart in front of her as the cameras rolled and the streets carried on talking. She was torn between humiliation and betrayal. Was this blatant justice or retaliation? Tonight, we reveal the truth they tried to hide, exposing deep rivalries, secret betrayals, and a scandal so open that Harlem is about to blow up. After learning what happened behind those closed doors, you will never see loyalty the same way again, so stay focused. Events have occasionally taken an unexpected turn throughout history, leaving nothing unchanged. Now is one of those times. Jim Jones, who was once an unstoppable force in the game, was sentenced to prison. You heard right. Although we all thought the infamous Dipset rapper was above the law, he was convicted and sentenced to prison. A bombshell that none of us had expected was dropped just when everyone had recovered from the devastating news. But people, that's not the end of the story. No, because in addition to the drama in the courtroom, Cameron, yes, the same Cameron who is renowned for his witty remarks and quick wit, has now been the target of an attack. The kicker is this: that's because he exposed Chrissy's darkest secrets. These shocking revelations forced even the most resilient of us to pause and think about what really happens behind their public persona. You can already feel the tension in the air. Cameron finds himself in the midst of a chaotic situation after Jim Jones was in prison and his empire was destroyed. But there's more. What if I told you that the drama doesn't end when a few secrets are revealed? Oh, trust me, it gets deeper, darker, and more twisted. Now let's analyze it. It may surprise you to learn that Jim Jones's downfall was a slow burn that took years to develop and that no one was able to stop, despite his well-known hip-hop legacy, leadership role in Diplomats, and street influence. The whispers in the industry have been growing louder for a while now. He talks about his contacts, questionable transactions, and the questionable people he has been spending time with. No one could have predicted how things would end up. Let's talk about Cameron in terms of connections. When Cam gave Chrissy the surprise, we thought the game was over for everyone. But what did it really happen? Who was pulling the strings, and what did Chrissy stand to lose that would make her act in this way? Could it have been avoided, or was it inevitable that this whole situation would blow up in their faces? Let's start by discussing Jim Jones. He was more than just a rapper, he was always a brand and a symbol, but what's behind that glossy exterior? It's easy to lose ourselves in the music and forget that these famous people often do more than we really realize. Now, allegations of betrayal, questionable connections, and corruption are more than just hearsay. And these are the exact reasons Jim Jones is behind bars. Sources close to the case have leaked damning information that connects Jim to criminal activity beyond what any rap career could explain. We're talking about the kind of corrupt business practices, money laundering, and more that can bring down entire empires. Don't get me wrong, this isn't some wild conspiracy theory. Jimmy's connected to unlawful activity that was permitted to go unchecked for an excessive amount of time by reports, witness statements, and unquestionable evidence. But this is where the interesting part begins. Chrissy Lamkin is the woman at the center of this controversy. Don't think this is just about Jim. What truly sets this story apart are Chrissy's involvement, her connections to the criminal underworld, and the lengths she would go to in order to protect the secret she has been keeping for years. What happens when someone's secrets are exposed? When the facade breaks, what was once private becomes public. And Cameron did just that. He walked into the fire, not afraid to show Chrissy her true self. But was it worth it? Was Cameron's commitment to the truth and his friend sufficient justification for the criticism? For the following reasons. Once that curtain is drawn back, there is no going back. The entire scene is filled with betrayals, power struggles, and questionable decisions. Jim's demise was not entirely his own. Rather, it was a reflection of those in his immediate vicinity who supported his success and are now directly witnessing it. Chrissy, who has secrets in her closet that could bring down more people than just Jim, is at the heart of it all. Where does this leave Cameron? Battling his own demons while confined in a world of betrayal and secrets. As the story goes on, we'll look more closely at what went wrong, why things are going to get much messier, and how the players got involved. However, let's take a moment to reflect on the magnitude of what we are witnessing before moving forward. Celebrities are not the only people involved in this controversy. In this game of power, betrayal, and survival, the stakes are high, and all of these players are going to experience the consequences. How then did Jim Jones's life unravel? What evil secrets is Chrissy hiding, and why did Cameron risk everything to tell the truth? As we continue to peel back the layers of this shocking scandal, we dig deeper into the web of lies, betrayals, and secrets that have been painstakingly kept hidden from the public. While Jim Jones sits in prison facing charges that could define the rest of his life, the fallout from Cameron's explosive revelations is only beginning to unfold. And trust me when I say that Cameron's revelations went beyond mere drama. The world's foundation is shaken by this kind of truth. Everybody is familiar with Chrissy Lamkin. She has always been a symbol of loyalty and strength by Jim's side. But what if I told you that loyalty is just a well-crafted facade that hides a woman playing a much more ambitious game than anyone could ever imagine? In reality, Chrissy has been harboring some sinister secrets that, if made public, might completely change how we view her relationship with Jim Jones. You see, Jim's arrest affected not only him, but also the things Chrissy was trying to protect. This, for many years, she has been the gatekeeper, keeping their reputation intact and fiercely defending the empire Jim built. However, what would happen if that gate were forced open and the truth came out? Over time, Chrissy's role in these evil endeavors has been revealed, and what we now know is simply incredible. Chrissy was a different person behind closed doors than the loyal partner and fiancé who supported Jim through thick and thin, a woman who would do anything to protect the wealth and power they had accumulated. Let's take a closer look. Chrissy's alleged involvement in several years' worth of illegal financial transactions was one of the most important revelations from Cameron's expose. Instead of just hinting at these activities, Cameron, in his usual unbridled fashion, spilled the beans. There were transactions involving shadowy people moving money in and out of the country, offshore accounts, and underworld figures that no one dared to even question. But here's where it gets even more twisted. According to a number of anonymous sources, Chrissy wasn't just an observer. She wasn't just helping her partner out. She was a co-conspirator in many of these questionable activities. In fact, some insiders claim that Chrissy was the impetus behind several important decisions made by Jim's illegal business. Chrissy was working behind the scenes, managing events to protect their resources and bolster their control over the game, even though Jim was the public face. Think about this. Chrissy, the woman we've all seen on reality TV, is concealing information that could ruin both her and Jim's careers. It also extended beyond the economic side of things. Oh no, that's not all there is to it. There were some rather unnerving places on Chrissy's hands. Places that contained dangers, illegal activity, and dangerous individuals who could endanger not just her life, but also her future. Now I know what you're thinking. How did we get here? How did Chrissy go from being someone we all thought was loyal to her partner to someone who may have ties to organized crime? Folks, that's the real story here. The more we look into Chrissy's role, the more we discover. Several credible sources have reported that Chrissy was not only unaware of Jim's activities, but also actively participated in them. She participated in money laundering schemes and transferred millions through phony charities and legitimate companies while pretending to be the supportive fiancé in front of the cameras. It's a perfect example of the kind of double life that many people in the entertainment industry lead. Public figures who work clandestinely while maintaining a perfect public image. But we can't ignore the one element that really put the entire operation in danger. When Cameron disclosed Chrissy's involvement, the entire industry was rocked. He wasn't merely making fun of Chrissy. His comments challenged the foundation of the empire that Jim and Chrissy had built. After that, the gloves were taken off. However, what was Cameron's motivation? He used to consider Chrissy a close friend and confidant, so why risk everything to expose her? Cameron's family, however, asserts that he wasn't acting malevolently. Cameron believed that the truth had to be told because the public deserved to know what really happened behind the glamorous lives of celebrities like Chrissy and Jim. Ultimately, it was more than a matter of revenge, and he would not allow them to escape punishment. Its objective was to expose the more sinister facets of a society that are usually kept hidden from the masses. What about the repercussions, you might be wondering? What does all of this mean for Chrissy? It's one thing for Cameron and Jim to reveal a secret, but it's another to deal with the consequences. Cameron's revelations have had an impact on the entire entertainment industry. Supporters are divided. Some are in favor of Jim and Chrissy, while others want justice, but there's no doubting that the once untouchable couple's reputation has been ruined. As the world watches, Chrissy's world is falling apart, and every new discovery weakens her grip on her empire. But whether Chrissy can weather this storm, or if it's the beginning of the end for her, remains the real question. What about Jim, who is increasingly dealing with legal problems? Can he handle the fallout from these exposés, or is he really done? As the dust settles, the true consequences of Cameron's devastating exposé are beginning to surface. Furthermore, nobody could have foreseen how unsightly it would be. In addition to legal issues, Agent Jim Jones, a once celebrated icon in Harlem and beyond, is currently dealing with the total collapse of everything he built. The shocking allegations made by Cameron and supported by anonymous whistleblowers have been obtained by federal prosecutors, and the legal noose around Jim's neck is quickly tightening. Insiders claim that prosecutors have already begun a thorough investigation into Jim's financial transactions, using Cameron's leaks as a roadmap that were being constituted. Former colleagues are being called in. Secret deals that were previously discussed behind closed doors are now being disclosed in front of reporters in packed courtrooms. And it's not just Jim that the feds are after. They are after Chrissy and everyone else who touched the empire. Paradoxically, Chrissy may have died as a result of her repeated efforts to protect Jim over the years. According to case sources, Chrissy's name can be found on a number of significant financial documents that are currently being examined by the federal government. Records that might link her to accusations of conspiracy, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. There is complete chaos on social media. At one point, fans were debating whether Cameron was being petty. Breaking news alerts started to appear on all platforms the following minute, confirming that a full-fledged federal investigation was in progress, and that Chrissy was more than just a ride-or-die fiancé. She might even be a co-defendant. Twitter took off, blogs on Instagram went into overdrive. In-depth examinations of the relationships, the timelines, and the missing money were shared by theorists on TikTok. It was the biggest scandal of the year, not just a scandal. Meanwhile, Jim Jones is breaking under the pressure. Unlike the rebellious rapper who once dominated stages and record charts, he looks hollowed out and broken in court sketches. According to sources, he has been making a valiant effort to come to a private agreement that would shorten his jail sentence. But there's a catch. To save himself, he might have to turn on Chrissy. Consider the worst possible betrayal. The man Chrissy had fought for all these years, Jim, might have betrayed her to protect himself. When it comes to this kind of cruel irony, not even Hollywood could write a better script. According to people familiar with the case, Jim is being offered a significantly reduced sentence by federal prosecutors in exchange for testifying against his longtime partner. Chrissy is also highly desired by the government. However, that isn't the entire tale. Remember all of Jim and Chrissy's extravagant homes, exotic cars, designer clothes, and expensive vacations that they boasted about on social media for years? So guess what? The IRS and the Department of Justice are currently seizing these assets. Every vehicle, item of jewelry, and piece of real estate is being examined, audited, and in certain situations, repossessed. It is a total and utter collapse. The fact that other celebrities are beginning to distance themselves from Jim and Chrissy will only add fuel to the already blazing fire. Longtime industry friends have abruptly stopped communicating. Deals for endorsements have been canceled. Rumor has it that reality TV producers are purging old video of the couple. Mona Scott Young, the executive producer of Love and Hip Hop, is reportedly furious behind the scenes and is desperately looking for a way to lessen the association. According to rumors, she is considering re-editing past reunion performances in order to drastically reduce Chrissy's appearance. It looks like Chrissy Lamkin is being taken out in real time. Cameron, whether you like him or not, is handling the attention like a pro by remaining composed, unflappable, and unrepentant. While Cameron is gaining thousands of followers, Jim and Chrissy's world is burning down. Every time he does an Instagram Live, it feels like a victory lap. Every time he makes a questionable post, his fans go crazy. Really destroyed the opposition in addition to winning the court of public opinion. There is a deeper sadness to all of this, though. In the past, Jim Jones and Cameron were more than just rivals. They were brothers in arms, partners, and family. We're seeing more than just careers being destroyed. The dynasty is in decline. Due to hubris, betrayal, and greed, the Dipset legacy, once believed to be unbreakable, is now in ruins. Harlem is in mourning as a whole, and the impact goes far beyond Jim and Chrissy. Although he had flaws, Jim served as a community symbol of success and perseverance in the face of hardship. Now that symbol has been shattered, a deep, agonizing scar may never fully heal. Chrissy's future is still uncertain because Jim might turn state evidence. Her luxurious life could soon be reduced to a harsh, cold prison cell. Rumor has it that Chrissy has already enlisted the services of one of the top criminal defense firms in New York. Even the best lawyers, though, cannot erase evidence or undo years of unethical behavior. Keep in mind that everyone is observing everything. The same fans who once cheered Chrissy's romantic proposals on national television are now mercilessly scrutinizing every document, interview, and questionable financial trail. You can't hide any longer. The final straw. According to anonymous leaks, more individuals associated with Jim and Chrissy, including former friends, business associates, and even some names that haven't been revealed yet but are allegedly heavily involved in the same corruption scandal, may face new indictments. In essence, this is about a whole house of cards collapsing and dragging everyone involved into the debris, not just about two people going downhill. As the final court dates approach, the crucial question remains whether Jim and Chrissy will accept the consequences together or turn against one another in a desperate attempt to survive. Because in this game, loyalty is just another word for collateral damage. In a moment, the empire was gone. While Chrissy Lamkin stared down betrayal from the man she once vowed was everything, Cameron watched Jim Jones confront the prison walls from the front row with the smirk of a man who knew this day would come. But the real question is, was it worth it? To pursue the money, the fame, and the false loyalty, was it worth losing everything they had worked so hard to achieve? Was it inevitable that the secrets of the Dipset dream would bring it to an end? More importantly, Jim, who is truly at fault here? Of Chrissy Cameron Harlem itself. Because in a society where loyalty is bought, love is weaponized, and secrets are worth money, nobody gets away unscathed. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Jim Jones should be given another chance in light of all the scandals? Should Chrissy be held accountable if the charges are true? And was Cameron a hero for telling the truth, or was he just a snake with a larger scheme? Leave your thoughts in the space provided for comments. Don't be timid. I'm reading everything. And trust me when I say that this is not nearly as strange as what is about to occur. The industry is about to be rocked by more betrayals, leaks, and collapses. Make sure to click like as a result. If you haven't already, turn on your notifications and subscribe to make sure you never miss the real stories they don't want you to hear. Because we don't just sip the tea here, we spill the entire pot.